This is Secret America with your hosts, Jack Danger and James Clary.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Jack Danger, along with James Clary. And as you all know, Charlie Kirk was indeed taken from us on Thursday, September 10th, just last week. And obviously, he is still on everybody's minds, and he will be probably for the rest of everyone's lives. And I'm going to real quick, the reason that we had to go and do the show today instead of yesterday is because we wanted to be respectful of Charlie Kirk. Anybody that wanted to attend his vigils could, because yesterday was Sunday. It was the day of, it was the day of Christ, and Charlie was a huge Christian. So we wanted to let that go. And we also James wanted to attend one of these vigils. Now we have the video. James made just a short little video of the vigil that he attended. Where was this vigil, James?
This was in Ozark, Missouri, a very small
Ozarks.
town.
If you've ever seen the show Ozarks with, I believe Jason Bateman was at this vigil.
That's actually up at Lake of the Ozarks, about 2 hours north. This is about, this is between my hometown, Springfield, and Branson. Everybody's heard of Branson. It's about 15 minutes south of Springfield. Small town. It was on their public square. The number of people just blew me away. That's just what I wanted to show people.
Now, how many people do you think are in the town? That not at the vigil, but the people that were actually
regular residents of Ozark proper. I think it's about 7,000.
7,000. And how many people do you think attended this vigil?
2,500 to 3,000.
So half the population of the entire town. That is incredible. I'm going to go ahead and play the video for you because it is amazing, and it is exactly why we wanted to do the show today and not yesterday. So let's go ahead and do this and play it up real quick.
And it, Jack,
how incredible is that?
I think it was happening in small towns across America, in large cities. I mean, we saw the big things in London and all across the world, but I just wanted to tell you that it's happening everywhere. And the good people just put this together on the fly. Someone just said, we have to do something. It was beautiful. They had a rose ceremony where everyone could take a rose and put it in a vase next to Charlie's picture. And they had all the candles. They had a really good Christian kind of modern band, and the preacher, I don't know where this guy was from, but man, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. And my congressman, Eric Burleson, showed up, gave my girlfriend a big hug. We're pretty tight. And he just came down on his own. This is a U.S. congressman. He had a hat on. He didn't want anybody to recognize him. He found us because he knew we were going and we're friends. And he was balling. I was too. We all were.
I mean, man. I bet he was. But how incredible is it that there was so many people, and that's just one vigil. There were when we did the post yesterday for to say that we're going to do the show today.
Yeah.
I put up just 4 things of vigils. There were thousands of vigils all across the country and thousands of people attending these vigils. And let me tell you something, James, beyond just the vigils, you know what I love? There are many, many horrible leftists. I mean, sick, despicable people that do not have jobs this morning thanks to Charlie Kirk. He got these people exposed. Now, his death was tragic. It was horrible. And believe you me, I would much rather have Charlie Kirk than have these leftists exposed. But I will say that Charlie Kirk's death was not in vain. For one, do you know how many new chapters Turning Point USA has had requests for now? First of
I
all,
do.
they had 1,200 first chapters that were before Charlie Kirk's death. 1,200 requests. Now 30,000.
37,000.
30. Yeah, well, it's probably gone up since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, I heard that
Upwards
from
of
Andrew this afternoon. Yeah.
40,000 requests, James. Before Charlie Kirk's assassination, there were 1,200 requests for new chapters. Now it's up to 40,000. Not only that, but you don't know how many people I saw say, I am not a religious person, but I am going to church this Sunday. His death opened the eyes of people to religion. And let's not even think about the religion part. Do you know how many people I saw say, I donated the max to Obama? I was a huge Democrat, a huge liberal. After seeing the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I just registered as Republican. I'm talking tens of thousands. Okay, if you thought the Republicans were in trouble at the midterms, if you thought that the Democrats, they were going to come out and vote and the Republicans weren't going to vote, let me tell you something. Charlie Kirk's death sparked the entire country. Now it's almost a guarantee. Not only will the Republicans win the midterm, now don't get me wrong, we still have to vote, but
we have to work. We have to do more than vote.
Well, not only will the Republicans win the midterms now, James, at least in my opinion, but Republican voters are going to turn out in droves. I'm talking liberal Democrat voters that switched over to Republican by the thousands in the last 4 days.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. If I kind of share what I got out of last night.
Go ahead.
You know, I've had 4 or 5 days to process this, like everyone else. I consider myself a Christian. I don't consider myself a very good Christian. And I don't mean that because I don't go to church. I don't go to church. I had a church at one point, and they kind of went in a direction I wasn't happy with. But
there you go.
If anything, above all else, Charlie loved the Lord. And, you know, I don't talk about my beliefs very much, but that's going to change. It has to change. And, you know, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. You probably didn't. I know you're at work. I had a job today that I could actually listen, but JD Vance hosted Charlie Kirk's show today.
I did see it. No, I didn't get to watch it, though.
It was amazing. And one thing he said towards the end, he said, he gave some examples of things that happened to him. Like he took his family to Walt Disney World. And he said, most people were nice and people said hi. Most people just ignored us and let us, have a good time. But there were some people, like he said, particularly one, of course, it's a middle-aged liberal white woman that said, hey, you kids, disown your father. Your father should die. That's what I'm saying. Then he gave another example and a couple other examples of just crazy lunatic stuff. And then I saw a poll, and I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but there was a poll that said 25% of Democrats think that political violence against your opponents is sometimes necessary. 3% of Republicans, which is too many. 3%, too many. But 25%.
That's insanity.
It's insanity. And we're seeing it, Jack. I told you about my deal with my neighbor, whose name is Karen, oddly enough. And I told her, and she said, how are you doing? I said, I'm sad. A guy I really respect got assassinated this morning. This was the day of, or it was the next day. Sorry. And, I said, man, Karen, this political violence needs to stop. She goes, well, if we didn't have such a violent president,
violent. What's he done that's violent?
So, let me try and wrap. What I was trying to say is I learned that, Charlie Kirk used persuasion and logic, and he always treated his opponents with grace. He was never rude. He was always kind.
Never
hateful. But the 25%, this is what JD Vance said. He goes, people are calling for unity right now. He goes, there is no unity with people that believe that political violence is okay. So what we're saying is this segment, maybe there's some Democrats like Stephen A. Smith, who called this horrible event out. Okay, I can deal with him. We can have our disagreements. This 25%, there's no unity. They need to be shunned and shut out of society without violence. But we also need to use the power of our word. And I'm going to dedicate my radio show, Jack, and the frickin' pussies won't come on. But any leftist that wants to come on and debate me, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., they are welcome. They have a platform because I want to carry on Charlie's work. And I know we can't do that here. We're a different format, but I can do whatever the hell I want on that show. So anyway, that's where I'm at.
Well, we both know that they won't actually, come on the show because leftists, the reason that they use violence is because they have no political arguments. Their arguments are based on emotion, not logic. It's not based on common sense. It's based on pure emotion. So they have no arguments. That's why they shoot. And it's why they will not come on your show. Because they have no argument. No sane, rational argument can be made for the things that they are for. And that is the big problem. Now, I know we've talked about the emotional aspect of Charlie Kirk's assassination, but I want to dive in just a little bit. No matter how much it hurts people, I want to dive into what actually happened. Okay? Because I don't care what anybody says. It's hard to convince me that this was a lone wolf shooting. I mean, how many lone wolf shootings are actually lone wolf shootings?
Well, Matt, did you hear the latest news? There's 20 people in that Discord chat they're looking at. Yeah. The FBI has announced that 20 people.
And you know how many people thought that it looks on the video like he was shot on his chest and it ricocheted off of a chest plate into his neck. Well, he was not wearing a vest or a chest plate. And let me show you how I know that. I want to show everybody real quick how we know that he was not actually wearing a chest plate. So I want you guys to check this out. So take a look at this right here. All right, this is, and I'm going to pull it up here for everybody to see right here. So this right here, you can see plain as day here. This is his back. There is no chest plate. There is no bulletproof vest. It's his shirt and his back. And then here's the front. You can plainly see a nipple right there. And I'm sorry, I know that might make people laugh, but it's a nipple, which means there is nothing covering his chest. And I say that to say that it's clear that he was not wearing a chest plate. He was not wearing a bulletproof vest. So for the people that think that it bounced off of his chest into his neck, that is incorrect. And what also bothers me, James, is people say that this was a 30-06 bullet. They say that this was a hunting type rifle. They said this was a rifle, right? First of all, the shot that would have hit his neck, it wouldn't have stopped in his neck. It would have went through his neck. The neck is thin. There's nothing but tissue unless you actually hit his spine. There is no way that bullet would have stopped in his neck.
Not in a 30-06, no.
No, it would have never stopped in his neck. Second, there was a drone flying above right as he was shot. There is video of a drone flying right up there as he was shot. But yet there has been...
You said that. I didn't understand the significance of that. What?
That is very significant because, for one, a security team, that is one of the first things they look for because there are many ways to put weapons on a drone. Now, the drone didn't shoot him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, remember how there was a drone flown at Crooks, the whole Butler, PA assassination attempt?
They flew one, yeah.
Yes, they flew the drone beforehand to observe what was going on, to observe, how far they were, where they needed to stand. Well, this drone was...
Go ahead, finish your thought.
This drone was flown right before the shooting, which makes me think that there was not, and then also there's also video actually of two separate people on these rooftops. If you piece together videos, there's actually one video, and I saw this plain as day, where there is two people standing on one rooftop by themselves. I'm not talking about two people in two separate videos. I'm talking about two people in one video. Well, so what tells this to me, James, first of all, a security team, especially after Butler, doesn't just allow drones to fly overhead. That's security 101. Number two, they don't allow people on roofs, especially multiple people on roofs. And if it was the security team's drone or Charlie Kirk's drone or anybody's drone, that they would have seen the person on the roof. They would have seen the multiple people on the roofs, and I'm sure somebody would have been notified. That's why this stuff is very, very interesting to me. I'm not saying it's all connected. I'm just saying there's many anomalies here, James, that have not been explained.
Have you seen the video that actually appears to show the bullet coming from a completely different direction and hitting him? He goes like this and moves that direction, and then it comes out. Some people are claiming he was shot in the left side or whichever side, but it came out.
That was the exit wound.
Yeah,
what you saw where the blood was spurting, that was the exit wound.
I gotta say, it sure looks like a bullet when there's something in the air in that video I saw.
Did you
so
see?
It would be coming almost behind him.
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? It was coming
You're
behind
absolutely
to
right.
the side. Yeah.
And I want you to go ahead and talk for 1 second, James, because there's a video that I want to find that will blow your mind. It'll show you who they believe is the actual shooter from that side, and it is mind-blowing. So I'm going to go ahead and let you talk.
I saw that video. And
you saw that one? I want to try to find it for everybody.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, where it looks like he shot from the other side. But here's the thing, man. He was like a son to Donald Trump. He and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and JD Vance, they were close friends. I'm going to give this administration the benefit of the doubt. I don't think there's a conspiracy. I think if something else happened, we're going to find out about it.
Not a government conspiracy. No, I don't think it's a government conspiracy. No.
But I mean, here you and I, two guys in a chair making these speculations based on videos. I mean, they have the full resources of the federal government. You're talking Homeland Security, FBI, FTA.
But you trust Trump, but how much do you really trust this administration? Let's be real.
I trust Tulsi Gabbard a lot. I trust.
Yes. Now Tulsi Gabbard's one, but she may not be privy to, even though she's the DNI, they may not show. This is an FBI investigation. Did you see how the crime scene was immediately dismantled? Did you see them picking up shit from the crime scene after it happened?
I think, look, there's a news conference. There's a news conference tomorrow night. I think, in a way, it dishonors his death to engage in conspiracy theories that we don't know, Jack. That's the bottom line. Just let me finish.
Go ahead.
We need to wait. He hasn't even had a funeral yet.
I'm not talking about.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
No, that's fine. And I'm not talking about a theory. I never said I had a theory of how he was killed. What I'm telling you is anomalies in something that people can make up their own minds. I'm not going to tell them what I think happened. I'm going to let them make up their own minds. A drone flying overhead exactly as he was shot. It wasn't there before or after. It was only there while he was shot. Two people that you can plainly see on the rooftops. That's security 101, baby. That is security 101, especially after Butler.
Well, let's hope that there's enough reporters out there to, ask the question, why was there a drone? I mean, I have a lot of questions. Was there an autopsy? I want to know
How could there be a bullet left in his neck from 200 yards away? It's not possible.
Hold on. If there was an autopsy and the medical examiner's report would completely tell us, was he shot from one side and the bullet came out the other?
There already was an autopsy.
Well, that medical...
They did not release the results.
They haven't released it yet. They haven't released it.
No, they haven't. And I don't know if they will, but it did happen September 10th, the night of September 10th. He was, then he was flown to some kind, I forget, he was flown on Air Force 2 to somewhere. I forget where it was, but I remember reading about it. They did do the autopsy the night of September 10th. So there was.
No, the Air Force 2 was taking his body from Utah back to Arizona. JD Vance.
Exactly. But see, what I'm talking about is I'm not talking about telling people, and this is right. I don't know if there were actual hand signals or not. What I'm doing is all I'm doing. And right here, Deb said the drone could have been part of Turning Point USA filming. Yeah, it could have been, but it wasn't there before the shooting and it wasn't there after the shooting. And all I'm doing is giving people pieces of information. They can glean from it what they want. I'm not telling them that there was a conspiracy, and I'm not giving you what I think happened. All I'm telling you is a little anomalies that seem strange to me. They may not even seem strange to other people. They just seem strange to me.
Fortunately,
so it is our job to give out all the info.
Fortunately, so far, compared to some other crap we've seen with this DOJ, they've been pretty transparent.
So far,
and,
at least it seems that way to us.
I mean, they're actually telling us that they're investigating these 20 freaks on the Discord server, which I'd love to talk about, just that whole aspect of it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So Tyler, whatever is the Robinson, the shooter, I hate even using his name. So apparently he's gay. He in love with
straight.
a trans person, another man who is transitioning to a boy. Or to a woman. I think it was just a kid who wore long hair. It was just one of these, there's some commonalities here. And if people don't like me drawing these, I don't really give a shit. They're gamers. They're kind of outcasts a little bit. They don't really fit in with the in crowd. So they play a lot of games and they're on these servers. Discord, Twitch, what's the other big one? Steam. That's a big one where all these kids congregate, and they're into furries. Do you know what furries are, Jack?
Yeah, we had an episode on furries a while back. The people that pretend they're animals, yeah.
Well, yeah, and they wear these suits. They came in, I was consulting.
That was one of our first 5 episodes, yeah.
Well, I don't even remember that. I'm sure I told the story where 30 furries came into this massive pizza place. I mean, at the time, I just thought this is kind of weird. But now you find out that it's all sexually related. They, it's kind of like the autogynephilia that so many of these trans people suffer. They get sexually aroused by a man dressing as a woman. These furries get sexually aroused by the thought of having sex with a koala bear. I mean, look, you do whatever you want in your own bedroom. The problem is this crap has been normalized in our society. And the other thing that's been normalized, these first-person shooter games. I thought they were cool as hell when Call of Duty came out and those. But, dude, you're blowing people away and seeing brain spatter come out, and it's almost like it's not real. So you add, all the crap that's in the food that these kids have been poisoned and the dyes and, the social media aspect of it. I really do think that the Trump administration, it's going to take a while, but I don't know if you saw Ed Martin's post. Ed Martin posted, "It's time." They're going to go after these NGOs and these other organizations. In addition, it's going to take time to get search warrants for this stuff, like on the Discord servers. They have to get search warrants for every one of those kids' phones. They're going to do all this. This will take time, but I think I know you've heard this. Stephen Miller said that the last communication he had with Charlie sent him a text and said, we have to strategize and have a plan on how we dismantle these rabid left-wing organizations. And it's coming. It's coming. Hell hath no fury. Like
you're
the
absolutely
widow
right.
Erica and the Trump. And I mean, JD talked about it. We're all sad as hell. We've all wept. But there's also a simmering anger in every one of us. And I think in particular, you don't think that Donald Trump feels this, that the DOJ, but it is, I heard Bongino talking about it. Look, we're going after these people. It's going to take time.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I really hope that they are going after these people because, I mean, they're investigating them, but, I'm just so used to things in the past, never anything happening. And also during the Trump administration, never anything happening. Let's be real. If we're going to be real, I'm going to be real.
We've talked about it a lot. We've talked about this is personal to them, though. I mean, this is the one
that's,
I'm
sorry,
he's their friend. He's their friend. Now
is the only reason why I believe something would happen here.
I will say that Bibi Netanyahu is just the more I hear from him, the less I like that guy. You know, I'm a big supporter of Israel and the right of the Jewish people to have their homeland. I hate Hamas and these rabid jihadis. They're horrible people. But Netanyahu goes on Fox and makes it out like he and Charlie were like best friends, which is total BS. I was just listening to Candace. Candace, in spite of what people say, like they had this big falling out, they didn't. Candace and Charlie Kirk are like brother and sister. They're as close as any two humans can be. You know, that's where they started. I don't know if you people remember this, but it was Charlie and Candace for the first 3 years on these campus tours and everything else. And she was saying that, you know, there's just some, Charlie had begun to back away from his super strong Israel position. I mean, you heard what he said about his donors. And then Tucker brings up a great point. Look, it's the largest donors behind this whole anti-white, anti-fascist thing are the ADL and these other large Jewish donors back to BLM and these other groups. And there's going to have to be that. Look, we have to be able to talk about that honestly. You know, calling out the Israeli government, Bibi Netanyahu, and these Marxist Jewish donors in the U.S. supporting organizations like BLM doesn't make me an anti-Semite. I love the Jewish people and fully support Israel and their right to exist. But, you know, I just heard today that they're starting massive construction in the West Bank. They're just saying, fuck it. It's ours. We're just, you know, we're going to build a new settlement. And we've talked about October 7th. You want to talk conspiracy? That was a major conspiracy. So I didn't mean to go on that track, but if you listen to Charlie Kirk on Megyn Kelly said, he goes, I've received the most vitriolic, hateful texts from people that I once had a great relationship. These were Jewish donors because he called Trump and said, don't let this Iran thing turn into another forever war. And he was skewered for it. Now, I'm not saying Israel's behind anything, but I think people deserve to know the truth. The American people are turning against what's going on in Israel. The Israeli people are against it. Huge demonstrations.
Let me tell you something that is extremely interesting, okay? And this is the tweet that was done on August 13th, and I found this extremely interesting. This was almost exactly a month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I want everybody to see this. So check this out right here, okay? This, as you can see right here, this guy Tommy says they would, talking about Israel killing Charlie. If Charlie turned heel on Israel, they would have someone shoot him at an open-air event, and they have some idiot groiper with a genetically anomalous issue, i.e. trans, there to be the Patsy Fall guy. That right there was done, has 2 million views, was done a month, 1 month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And he said that if he turned heel on Israel, which means if he turned against Israel, they would kill him at an open air event and then blame it on some anomalous person like a trans. That is 100% what happened. Not only that, but Charlie, in the events leading up to that point, was starting to turn a little bit against Israel. He questioned Israel's response to October 7th. He questioned Israel's genocide. He started questioning everything. And then after this happened, James, Prime Minister Netanyahu has gone over the top overcompensating for what happened to Charlie. I'm talking every single one of his posts are I love Charlie Kirk. Me and Charlie Kirk were best friends. I'm going to miss him to death. What do you think, man? That's crazy, right?
It's weird. It's weird. And Candace confirmed it. She said, look, I mean, Charlie had a relationship with Netanyahu. He had lunch with his son when he was in Israel last. Charlie loved Israel, was a huge Israeli supporter, but that's the thing about Charlie Kirk. He had such an open mind, and, you know, he could read the room, you know, and his room really was the college students. And look, these kids that grew up with these forever wars, they're against war, number one. I mean, when the whole Iran looked like we were going to go to war with Iran, Charlie was the first guy at the White House say, you can't let this happen. And he went to JD talked about it today. He said, Charlie came to us and said, I am very concerned that this is going, talking about the nuclear strikes on Iran's nuclear facility, not nuclear strikes, sorry, the bombing of the nuclear sites. I'm very concerned this is going to turn into another forever war. And JD said, look, Charlie, the president is against that more than anybody. And Trump did pull it off, and I give him credit for that. It was a single strike kind of deal. But, I don't put anything past. I think Israel was intricately involved in 9/11, and
who could pull this off other than Mossad?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying they did it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Again, I'm not giving out any specific theory about what I think. I'm just telling people what's going on. I'm telling people the facts. That post was right on point, and then all of a sudden you got Netanyahu praising Charlie like he's the second coming, and like he was his best friend. Like they used to, sleep at each other's houses, hang out. They would go on double dates. I mean, that's the way he made it seem now, right?
I know.
Which is total bullshit.
Candace said it was bullshit. I mean,
it absolutely is bullshit.
She and Charlie talked every day. Still, they talked all the time. She said he was concerned about what was going on with this war that's been going on for a year and a half? I mean, or a year now, I guess, 2 years.
And that tweet is mind-blowing. Literally a month before he's killed, they say the exact way he would be killed if he turned against Israel even a little bit. And that is exactly what happened. I mean, it is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, one thing I do know, James, is that people are probably tired of talking about all of this. I mean, other than talking about Charlie Kirk, the man, I'm sure people are extremely tired. So I'm going to change the subject here so people can hear about something else. James, did you hear what happened about this explosive device found under the Fox News vehicle in Salt Lake City? This happened just a day or two after the Charlie Kirk assassination, not 20 miles down the road in Utah. And we're actually getting a message real quick from Terry, who says that the Israeli military has launched a major ground offensive aimed at seizing control of Gaza City. And I got to say, James, real quick, just talking about this specific post, I'm not upset about it. And I'll tell you why. I still have the images of the people on Gaza Strip cheering when 3,000 Americans were killed during 9/11. As soon as those bombs went off, and yes, it was bombs, make no mistake. The planes might have hit them. The planes might have hit the building, but the bombs took it down. As soon as that building started going down because of the bombs and the planes hit it and all that nonsense happened, Gaza erupted in cheers, in claps, in, death to America chants. I have that ingrained in my brain. So as much as I don't like forever wars or war in general, for that matter, well, I can't say I don't like war in general at all. I mean, I'm not a pacifist, not by any means, because quite honestly, on Thursday, I was calling for civil war. I was ready to get this mother started, but it never happened. So here we are. But I'm not 100% upset that they're trying to seize control of Gaza City, because I remember on Gaza Strip, every single one of them, including 5-year-old children, cheering for the death of 3,000 Americans. James, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not that. I wish they'd just get the war over. I mean, that would be nice. Yeah, it's gone on too long, and too many innocents have been killed. There needs to be peace negotiations. Release the hostages too. Hamas, they're still holding hostages. There's some bad things. I mean, Israel blew up like one of the few Christian churches in Gaza and killed a bunch of Christians. You never hear about that. I don't know. I'm kind of like you. I'm a little bit indifferent. It's like, you know what? It's not our business. I don't think we ought to be funding the war.
No.
Just America, stay the hell out unless you can negotiate a peace settlement. And I thought that's what Marco Rubio was over there doing. Maybe he was getting the down low on this attack. But, we've got to talk about
what you want to talk
about. These people on the left celebrating this, Jack.
Real quick, before you say that, James, on the last thing, I just want to say one thing. When they booked these two people that were there, that got arrested for the bomb that was underneath the Fox News vehicle, these people were clearly Middle Eastern. They booked them as white individuals. If you go look at their booking photos and under booking, their race says white.
That's weird.
And that's not weird. That tells you everything you need to know. How many people, what is the real percentage of other races that commit crimes? If white people commit 4 to 10% of homicides, how many do we actually commit? Maybe 1 to 2%?
Well, it's the same thing with the statistics they pull up saying that it's people on the right that have, done the most violent acts the last 2 decades. It's all how it's
insane. And you're
right,
but
how
no,
it's
we need to talk about it.
reported. Yeah,
we need to talk about the people, the leftists that are celebrating
Destiny.
it.
I don't know. Destiny is right. The omni-liberal. He's this, wannabe Joe Rogan on the left. I can't believe most of our listeners know who he is. He's got long hair, beard. He's just such a freak. It would do me so much pleasure just to
You talking about
that.
Bob Villain? Bob Villain.
Well, Destiny goes on Piers and literally says, look, conservatives need to wake up. They are the ones that elected that, put that guy in the office, and they're going to die. Conservatives are going to die. That's just, yeah. But what gets me the most are these, did you hear, I don't know, nobody even knows this because nobody watches this crap anymore, but the Emmys were last night, and this actress goes on and she says, before I leave, I've just got to say, fuck ICE and free Gaza.
I saw that. Who was that?
Oh, who knows?
I cannot even remember, but I saw
her last name was like Endiner or something like that. I looked her up this morning, but
no idea.
I'm just so shocked that normal, everyday people we work with, like most of the guys I work with, honestly, don't even know who Charlie Kirk was. They know somebody got killed on the right, and they really don't care. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of just everyday, what you would think are regular people that are somehow implying that he deserved this.
I will tell you one thing, though, James. This was a great way of identifying who the horrible people are.
Yeah.
They don't have a mark on their forehead like the mark of the beast, but now we know who they are. And let me tell you, the whole world is putting pressure on these people to fire them. You know how many people have been fired recently? Let me tell you something real quick, James. And this is something I put out the other day. I want everybody to know this. There is an online database right now documenting over 50,000, and it was 40,000. It is now 50,000 and counting, who publicly celebrated Charlie Kirk's passing, along with details about their employers. That will be released to the public very soon. We are fighting fire with fire.
Put this up on the page. It's
cancel culture.
CharliesMurderers.com is the website.
Let's see if
that
we can
you need to
I
go
want to look at the website. Charlie's
Murderers with an S, plural. And it's so this guy, started this website, and he's the one. It's not a database yet. He says, I'm going to put it in a search.
So the website's not up yet, because I'm trying to find the website.
No, the website is up, and you know what? It's not pulling up on my phone either.
That's what I'm saying. I looked, and it says it's not up.
Wow, dude, somebody took it down. Dude, I've been on this site like all weekend.
Really? Wow, that is
crazy. It would show like the post the person did. It would show
and it's
their
technically
LinkedIn.
Not illegal to dox people, technically.
No,
so
it would show their
down.
LinkedIn profile. This is where we were getting all that information.
Yep.
It says the server can't be found.
But let me tell you how many people have lost their jobs thanks to this, and they should. And when that list becomes public, let me tell you, I don't care if there are 50,000 people, there will be millions of people calling each and every one of these employers. To whoever isn't fired, every single person on that list will lose their job. That much I can guarantee. And it's because these are despicable people, James. Despicable.
I think I found it. I looked it up.
What is it?
Hold on a second.
It's not Charlie.
It says the owners and admins of Charlie's Murderers site have changed their URL.
What is it?
This says Nazi Finder. That's why they took it down. They were getting attacked by the left.
Why would you? Well, that of course that's going to happen. Why would you take it down because of that?
I don't think they took it down. It got attacked.
Well, all right. Well, what I will say,
this
James,
is just crazy. Here,
well, see,
leftists apparently
respond.
Here, let me read this. Leftists apparently responded to the original Charlie murderer's site with legal action. As a result, the project seems to be nerfed. They've collected over 60,000 names, but the database is neither public nor searchable. And here, we are rebranding as the Charlie Kirk Data Foundation and have a new domain, link in bio.
No. That I saw was the Charlie Kirk Data Foundation.
But this was the same people. CharlieKirkData.org. They've got a new. All right, I'm going to
look it up.
Site.
Charlie Kirk. All right, look.
Okay, and that won't open either. That won't open either.
Well, let me tell you.
Wow, this is crazy. There's a cyber battle going on right now in front of us.
Well, there's also a spiritual battle going on for people's souls. And the best part about this is that we know who the horrible people are now, James. And a lot of them have been fired. A lot of them are being ostracized. And for the people that say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, we're no better than them. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you fight fire with fire. And let me tell you one more thing. I put up a post earlier that I actually wrote myself that I found to be very profound, James. And what I said was, if you actually, you know what? No. I wish I could find exactly what I said because it was very profound, and I don't want to misquote my own self. But basically, what I said was, if you can cheer for the murder of someone because of their opinions, don't cry when you get fired because of yours. If you think someone should be killed because of their opinions, don't cry when you're fired because of yours. And that is exactly why we're doing what we're doing to these people. That is exactly for everybody thinks we should be better than them. We don't always have to be the bigger person. Sometimes you fight fire with fire, and that's exactly what the F we're doing, James. They started the cancel culture shit. We didn't start it.
We support free speech 100%. But you know what?
We can't hate these people because of it.
No, sometimes there are consequences to your speech.
Perfect,
and
James.
Let me tell you, if you went to McDonald's and you went up and ordered a double quarter pounder, and the girl said, "You're eating meat. You're a cow killer. You should eat plants." Should that person work there? No, absolutely. Most of these people that got fired are in some type of service industry. I would never hire at my restaurant that I had a server who cheered political violence, a murder. I wouldn't hire that person because it speaks to their character. Delta fired somebody. Would you want to fly on a plane with a pilot who danced on the grave of someone who was publicly assassinated? Of course not. So we're not going after these people. All we're doing is telling their employers, this is who this person is. You make up your mind.
Exactly.
You know, Office Depot fired that freak that refused to print the posters calling it propaganda. Sorry, you don't get to choose how you treat our customers.
No. And we're not, just like you said, we 100% support their right to say what they're saying.
Absolutely.
But they also can deal with the consequences. What we're not doing is we're not advocating of stopping them to say what they're saying. What we're doing is advocating, well, hell, whatever you say, there's going to be consequence. We're not going to force you to keep your mouth shut. But what you say, you got to be able to be prepared for the consequences. Exactly what you said, James. And these people are horrible, despicable people.
Right.
And we're not telling their employers to fire them. We're just telling them, we're showing them who they are. That's
right.
it.
And we're not, their home addresses and phone numbers are probably available. They haven't published any of that. So they're not
public information anyway. You can go on to
everything
any voter
they publish
website.
Right.
No,
everything
they
publish
voter website. If you put out somebody's name, it'll say their name, their address, their phone number, any voter registration website now.
My my point is,
Yeah.
this site has not been publishing their addresses.
No.
They're not doing that. All they're doing is going to their LinkedIn profile and finding their employer and informing their employer. And there's not, you know what? The left has been doing this to us for years.
And now they're the morally superior ones. Oh,
yeah.
why are
you guys
James,
are doing that?
We have never told their employers to fire somebody. All we're doing is showing them who they are. There are some employers, James, who have not fired the people. It's not like every single person is being fired because the employers can decide for themselves, just like the leftists can decide for themselves what they want to say. And if they want to say horrible shit, they got to be prepared for horrible consequences, James.
Yep. You need to I would put this. So this is the user that did Charlie's murderers. His site was taken down. He's about to launch this other site. You got to put it up on the screen.
The Charlie's murderers.
His Twitter handle is @4FOR Charlie Kirk, the number 1. @4 Charlie Kirk, number 1. I encourage everyone to follow him. I'm following him. This is the guy that's been, doing this. And he says his pinned tweet is from an hour ago, Jack. He says, our website will be online soon. A big announcement is coming. Stay tuned, America. Get your screenshots and submissions ready. Collect everything and delete nothing.
Follow him on X on X. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm going to put this up for everybody to see real quick. This right here is you follow the man who is keeping the list of horrible leftists cheering Charlie's death. Follow him on X at FOR4 Charlie Kirk 1. Make sure you follow him because he will have the list. And when his website comes back out, it will show every single person not every single one. There's no way you're going to find every one of them.
I'm bummed that I'm bummed that his website got taken down. I got so much joy. The only joy I've had between weeping, I'd go to this website and then I'd get on X and I'd look the person up. And of course they'd instantly gone private. I love the videos of them crying, I lost my job today.
You're not wrong.
You freak. And this furry culture, honestly, this started back when the Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage was okay. In the eyes of the Lord, it's not. And I'm going to get a lot of pushback for that. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I really don't. The problem isn't, and many prominent gay people have talked about this, like, oh gosh, I'm losing my mind. What's the Glenn Greenwald, and then the Trump guys talked about it. It's just, he goes, we got our rights when they allowed us to marry. He goes, but they wouldn't stop there. Glenn Greenwald's talked extensively about this. A gay man was married to a guy. He said, they just kept pushing. And then it became this trans deal and that we have to treat every trans person, the American Psychiatric Association took it out of the listing as a mental disorder. They just removed it like on a whim. Okay, well, for the last 100 years, we've called it a mental disorder. Now it's perfectly fine. And then you got guys with beards and big D's walking into stores going, it's ma'am, it's ma'am. Where the hell? And we sat back and went, well.
And it's funny because there's a quote that everybody throws out there, and it's for evil to prosper, good men do nothing. In order for evil to prosper, good men have to do nothing. And that's exactly how we've let our country get to this point.
Yeah.
To the point where we are being executed out into the streets, to the point of where we never fight back or say anything because, we're supposed to be better than. Well, let me tell you something. You can be better than, but you'll take it all the way to the grave because they will win if you try to be better than all the time. No. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire.
Well, no more. I mean, that's why Ed Martin said it's time. The kind of same thing as no more. We're done.
Charlie Kirk's death was literally a turning point. You want to talk about turning point USA? His death was literally a turning point because now it's no more, we're better than, we're above all this. We're not going to stoop to their level. No. I'm going down to their level and below, baby.
Well, the thing is, though, the perfect story, if you will, did you see after his death, did you see any business boarding up their windows? Did you see any downtown people going, oh my God, here come the riots? There wasn't a single riot. Instead, Jack, what we saw is what we showed at the beginning of this broadcast was people with candles praying for love and peace. Like JD said, there's no unity with people that celebrate Charlie's death. So whatever that percentage is, 20, 25% of Democrats, okay, that means there's 75% reasonable people we can talk with. The 25% should be shunned. They should be called out. Their employers need to know these people are sick. They need mental health. We will make their lives miserable in any way possible that is legal and non-violent. Because we are the party of non-violence.
Well, let me tell you exactly the biggest problem, and we know that the biggest problem in America is the mainstream media. They're the cause of all of this. They allow this to go on, and then they perpetuate it. But let me tell you something that sounds like a great idea to me, and I think everybody listening to this broadcast needs to push this. It's called the Charlie Kirk Act. And
no, you're not going to go here.
What it does is it makes making propaganda... it makes making propaganda illegal again. Okay, all it does.
Let me interject before you go on this, because I wanted to talk about this. It's a girl. Her handle, I think, is at Real Ellie Mae that started this with a TikTok video.
It's a brilliant idea.
It's not. She's misinformed, and all these people are glomming onto this, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
All they did was that he amended that. Obama amended the Smith-Mundt Act to where it's no longer illegal for domestic propaganda. He didn't cancel it. He amended it to where it's no longer punishable.
Let me explain what I'm going with this. She says in this video, Barack Obama got rid of, and whatever you want to say, canceled, amended, whatever, the Smith-Mundt Act. And we need to bring it back in force, rename it the Charlie Kirk Act, that holds the media accountable and doesn't let them propagandize, right? Isn't that basically what she said?
I didn't see her video. I don't know about her video.
Okay. Do you know what the Smith-Mundt Act said? That's the problem. People never bothered to check that. The Smith-Mundt Act made it illegal for the federal government to propagandize. Had nothing to do with the media.
Yes,
and I've reached out to this person, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's a great idea. Your heart's in the right place, but you're ill-informed. You're uneducated. The Smith-Mundt Act made it illegal for the federal government to propagandize. Let me give you an example.
I don't know what her thing was. I never saw her video.
No, but that's what everything's. No, that's what everyone's pushing.
No. What my thing was, you didn't let me finish. What my thing was making what he did. I'm not talking about remaking the Smith-Mundt Act into the Charlie Kirk Act. That's not what I was talking about. I am talking about the Charlie Kirk Act making domestic propaganda illegal. I'm not talking about from the government. I'm talking about domestic propaganda in general illegal. And I'll tell you how, and I'll tell you why. So right now, you have the Constitution, right? And the Constitution says that you cannot discriminate based on race, creed, or color. But that's only protection from the government. It took the Civil Rights Act to make it to where everything was under that umbrella. The Charlie Kirk Act can make it to where everything is under the domestic propaganda umbrella, not just the government.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Policing it is the hard part.
Exactly. Who's going to determine what's propaganda? And when Trump leaves office and the Democrats in office, you want them to say, oh, your media, Secret America, new podcast, you guys just lied. We're taking you down. Jack, you don't want, and let me finish. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. And we already have laws on the books. They're called libel laws. If somebody lies about you, you can sue them. look, I get that everyone thought this was a great idea. I get Donald Trump.
Well, no,
even
theirs is different than mine. Theirs was different. Theirs was putting back the Smith-Mundt Act, which only protected against the
But
government.
that's where this whole thing started, Jack. Don't act
Yeah, but
like
that's
you
not
made
what
this.
I was
Don't
talking
act
about.
like you made this up. This has been a viral thing on X for the last.
Whoa! I never said I made it up. I said that might have been where it started. I don't know, but mine is different from theirs. I heard what they said, and theirs was remaking the Smith-Mundt Act. Mine was making it propaganda illegal across the board, like the Civil Rights Act made, discriminating against color illegal across the board.
There's a real difference, though, between discriminating, which I don't agree with the Civil Rights Act.
No, I was just talking about how the Constitution made it illegal for the government, but the government had to make a law so it's illegal for everybody. Just like the Smith-Mundt Act made it illegal against the government, but the government would have to make the Charlie Kirk Act to make it against everybody. Their Charlie Kirk Act is different from mine. I got the idea from them. I got the idea from them, but I amended their idea.
I'm just amazed that all these people out there,
I don't know where they got that from.
Millions of people are Donald Trump reposted it.
But they're thinking, I don't know why they think that the government could. Because if like you said, it's only protection against the government. Right. The media can still do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, but you remember we're media, bro. I don't want the federal government to have the power to label us as propaganda.
What I would like to know is why the propaganda was not as heavy as it is now before he repealed it, before he amended it. Because the government is more involved now.
Well,
that's why.
Let me give you an example of what they're talking about at this act. So the Voice of America, you're familiar with that, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Voice of America is an organization that was started, I believe, pre-World War II, but it's a very powerful radio station, and it was pumped in mainly to Eastern European countries, so the people under communist rule during the Cold War could get American ideas. They didn't have any way to get, news from America, news that wasn't censored by the Soviet. Voice of America is a very powerful thing. Well, certain members of the government thought, wow, wouldn't that be cool? We could do the same idea and broadcast it to Americans. And so the Smith-Mundt Act, they said, no, we don't want our government telling us, the citizens, what we should believe. So the Smith-Mundt Act made it impossible for the government to propagandize against the citizen. Obama repealed the part of that act, which allowed the government to do perhaps some of the crap they were doing around COVID, telling us that you had to do that. My only point about the idea to make it propaganda illegal is that term propaganda. Well,
it can be used for anything.
Propaganda. Yeah, that's
but
the
if we
problem.
Maybe at least because pre the amendment of the pre-amending the Smith-Mundt Act, there wasn't nearly as much propaganda as there is now. And you know that Joe Biden and that administration forced companies into propaganda. But see, that would have been caught criminal penalties had this not been amended. If we can at least bring that back, maybe it can bring back a little less propaganda. Now, it's not going to punish the actual media companies, but maybe it can help with the government. Because right now, some laws are better than none. Right now, there is none.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think actually, I have to look it up. I think the Trump administration may have reversed the thing on Smith.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Because at least that would help a little bit. Because you know as well as I do, James, as soon as that happened, how much propaganda has there been since? An immense amount.
Yeah. It just struck me. I saw this viral thing. General Flynn reposted this girl, and she did these videos.
Now, I never saw her video. I don't know, but I saw somebody else talking about it, and it sounded like a good idea. But theirs, like you said, had to do with the government. I was thinking maybe they could take it a little further, but then if you do, there's no way to really police it.
Well, no, that was the whole problem. They didn't realize that Smith-Mundt prohibited the government. Yep, they kept making the claim. They made the claim on X that the Smith-Mundt Act was a law that kept the media from
Domestic propaganda is what they said. They
when
didn't say anything about the government.
when it wasn't that at all. And people
Exactly.
like,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that.
Retweeting that. I'm like, what the, anyway,
No,
nobody
no,
listens
you're
to
absolutely
me.
right
I mean,
about
I
that.
tweeted that girl and I said, look, you're misinformed. I told her, I said, your heart's in the right place. I totally understand where you're coming. We're sick of the media line. But the thing is, the answer to that isn't to give the federal government more power. That's the last thing I want.
Yeah, we can't.
Let me finish. The answer is, Jack, you and me. What we're doing here today. That's true. The answer to media propaganda. Look, the old media dinosaur, they're freaking dying. Who cares? Now, I think her heart was, look what happened. The media radicalized this shooter.
Right about that.
She is right. She is right about that. And so I think her idea was, well, when the media says, well, Trump is fascist, then this law would kick in and say, well, that's propaganda. You can't say that. But,
but that's not what,
and
fascist could mean anything. It could be, and just like dictator, if you dictate to me, go get this pencil, they could call you a dictator for that and you couldn't get in trouble or anything, but you're right. But now you were right about the Charlie Kirk Act thing. And that was dumb saying that it does all domestic propaganda. I don't know why they would say that, but all I saw was Charlie Kirk Act and Smith-Mundt Act. And I'm thinking, I thought it would be nice to take it a little further, but you're right about the fact that, they couldn't really it would just get struck down by the Supreme Court. But also, I do think that they should reverse the Smith-Mundt Act repealing or whatever the amending, because at least there would be some kind of law in the books to help the pressure that the government has been putting on people like Facebook, MSNBC, Fox, whoever. You saw it. The Twitter files showed everybody how much pressure the government was putting on them to put out propaganda. And if this law was on the books the way it used to be, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
No, I agree. No, I think that's part of the reason Obama got rid of it, to allow the White House and others in administration to put pressure on media companies. But, they get around it anyway. I mean, let's go back to Operation Mockingbird. I mean, that was the CIA infiltrating mainstream media. I mean, these people don't care about laws anyway. So.
Well, I think that's why the law was put on the books, was because of Mockingbird. I'm not 100% sure, though.
No, it had to do with Voice of America. They wanted to bring Voice of America to the United States. There was the idea that, hey, we're doing it in Eastern Europe. Why don't we just do it for our own people? And some of the people recoiled at that. They said, look, the government's supposed to work for the people. They're not supposed to tell people how to think. Now, the media, I'm for an open media. It's kind of like you said with these people. Let them expose their ridicule of Charlie's murders, because now we know who they are. I saw somebody on Twitter said, man, we should take down Twitch and Steam and these Discord servers. No, we need to find them.
Exactly, James. How you do it is, you want to know how you get rid of, and you just said this exact thing, how you get rid of people that are putting out the propaganda. Now, I do think that we should put the Smith-Mundt Act back into place to at least stop, or at least help stop. Now, they can get around it, but not nearly as badly as they could when it's not there. So at least put that back to help stop some of the propaganda, from the government pressure for propaganda. But you know how you stop propaganda altogether, James, with the media?
What?
A competitive market, an open market.
Yeah. Right.
We are the media now, and it's why they will be dead soon, because of their propaganda. Nobody wants propaganda, so they come to us, James. An open, competitive market will kill propaganda.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And, thank God for the internet that allows a guy in North Carolina and a guy in the Ozarks to get on and speak the truth, whatever we want to say.
Amazing.
Our friend Deborah said, keep speaking the truth. That's all you can do. And it really is all we can do. And it is the way we can fight against this. By the way, there have been, I just looked it up. There have been, it was in 2012, Congress passed Smith-Mundt modernization, which amended parts of the law. Like you said, it was amended. There have been discussions within the Trump administration about getting rid of that and bringing it back. So.
God, if they did that, I think it would at least help curb the propaganda a little bit, because the government has put so much pressure on the media. And James, also, I wanted to talk to you either today or tomorrow about maybe moving our show to Mondays at 7. I must say, the last 2 weeks, I don't know if it's got something to do with church on Sundays or what, but the last 2 weeks, the last two Mondays that we've done this,
episodes,
we have had a ton of live viewers.
What do you guys think? In there in the comments, what do you guys think? You like it Sunday or Monday?
Yeah, would you like Mondays at 7 or Sundays at 7? And I will say that our last 2 episodes, thanks to it being Mondays at 7, have been huge. I mean, our last one had the most live viewers we've ever had. And right now, we've got 3,000 live viewers looking at us right now as we speak.
Green Eyes says Monday.
I think it's a great I think Monday. Terry
I
likes
have
Mondays.
no problem with it.
Deb likes Mondays. I think everybody likes Monday. What do you think, James?
I'm good with it. It just means, I got to run home and
I'm the same way. I work. I get home at 6:30. So, but I mean, I really think we would get to a lot more of an audience, and we could really get them the information they needed.
It's because Terry's sharing. Yes, Terry, it's you. Thank you. I love it. Well, Jack, I think we've done as much damn as we can do, man. It's been a rough week, brother. It's good to talk to you and to see our friends and in the chat and just pray for Erica Kirk and her poor babies. God, it just
and please do not forget about Irina Zarutska, everybody. She seems to be getting lost in all this, and it was, I mean, death in any form is horrible, and both of these deaths are equally tragic.
Big changes coming, man. Big changes. I don't know what they are, but there are big things on the horizon.
Huge.
And you remember, like I told you 2 weeks ago, Jack, I said something's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, on the show, you said something big is coming, and you were right.
Yep. I felt it, man.
You're right, and it happened, and there's no say. I mean, hell, it could happen again. I mean, you never know. But I do think, what do you think about maybe trying Mondays at 7?
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
All right. I'm going to put out a tweet tomorrow to let everybody know about it.
Okay. All right, guys. You've been listening to Secret America. He's Jack Danger. I'm James Clary. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Secret America with Jack Danger and James Clary.